What if the Ottomans lost the Battle of Varna? Hi everyone, and welcome to today's video where we're going to be checking out what would happen if the Ottomans lost at the Battle of Varna. Before we begin, consider leaving a like and subscribing since only 12% of you are subscribed, and you can become a member today. So as you all know, EU4 starts on November 11th, 1444, one day after the Battle of Varna, where the Ottoman army under the Sultan Murad II, who wasn't actually Sultan at that time, defeated the Hungarian, Polish, and Wallachian armies commanded by Vladislav III of Poland, who was also King of Hungary, and John Hunyadi, a Hungarian nobleman who commanded the Christian forces, and Mircea II of Wallachia. That was the final battle in the Crusade of Varna. Now that battle took place somewhere around here, and basically, like I said, the Christian forces were defeated by the Ottomans, and that's basically what kicks off the entire EU4 timeline. It starts one day after that battle. But now we're going to be taking a look at what would happen if the Ottomans lost that battle. How would history potentially change? So in this scenario, we're going to pretend that Vladislav III is still alive. Of course, I can't make a custom ruler without editing the game files, so let's pretend it's him on the throne of Poland. And Poland also has Lithuania in a PU, even though it wasn't that simple in real life, but this is for the game's sake. Poland also has Hungary and Croatia in a PU as well, just like it was back then. But they also have Bohemia. Now some of you may not know, but Bohemia also had an elective monarchy, similar to how Poland has it in the game. And basically, let's say that the Bohemian nobles were so impressed with Vladislav III that they gave him the throne of Bohemia as well, since the Jagiellons did later come to be rulers of Bohemia anyway. So this side won, and due to that victory, Bulgaria has been released from the Ottomans. Almost all of Byzantium's cores have been given back to them. Epirus gets one core back, and so does Albania, and Serbia gets two provinces back. I gave these two to Serbia, even though Bulgaria has cores on them too, because their culture is Serbian, and I gave this province to Bulgaria, even though both Byzantium and Bulgaria have cores on it, since the culture is Bulgarian. And I give this one to Epirus just because, well, they have a core on it, so why not? So that is our setup. Poland rules Mazovia, Lithuania, Bohemia, their vassals Hungary and Croatia, and they'll probably get Moldavia. Serbia, Byzantium, Albania, and Epirus are much more powerful. Bulgaria exists, and the Ottomans don't have a single possession in the Balkans. So how do you think things will unfold in this scenario? Will Poland dominate the entirety of Europe or only Eastern Europe? Or will they have a pretty similar campaign to how they usually do? What will happen with the Balkan nations? Who will come out on top? Will any one of them be able to consolidate the Balkans? And what will the Ottomans do? Will they manage to get back their possessions in the Balkans? They don't have cores on these provinces anymore, so that might make things a little more difficult for them. So place your predictions in the comments below, and if you want this save file, you can become a tier 1 member today. Let's see what happens in the next 50 years. So now it's 1480, almost 40 years since the start of the game, and let's take a look at what all the nations have been up to. As you can see, well, a lot of things have already changed. Let's start with the Ottomans. So the Ottomans almost immediately got declared on by the Mamluks. Now, not a lot of things happened in that first war. The Mamluks only took this province here, made the Ottomans give back some cores to Karaman over here, and they made them release the nation of Aden right here in this one province. Then the Ottomans were on the comeback, taking over a bunch of provinces from Karaman, so the ones they start out over here and the ones that they had to give to them. So Karaman was down to 2 provinces. Oh yeah, and they made them give these back to Chandar. But a couple of years ago, the Mamluks declared once again on the Ottomans and took out this huge chunk of territory right here. So they took 1 province in the first war, but they took like 8 in the second one. Things are not really looking good for the Ottomans. I did really want for them to make a comeback, but it's not looking very good at this point. Moving over to the Balkans, well, Byzantium is not doing so good. I'm sure a lot of you guys were rooting for them, but they got declared on almost immediately by Venice. They didn't make any alliances, and they lost a bunch of territory to Venice. As you can see, they did gain Burgas to Bulgaria, but we'll get to that. And Genoa declared on them too, taking these provinces over here. So now Byzantium is down to 5 provinces, and they're currently losing a war to Serbia. Not looking good. Epirus is chilling, and so is Albania too. Bulgaria is down to this 1 province over here. They got declared on by Wallachia and by Serbia later on. Obviously Wallachia took these provinces over here, but they also had these two, Serbia then took the rest from Bulgaria, and they later declared on Wallachia, taking these two from them. And obviously now Serbia are at war with Byzantium, and they are looking like they're gonna emerge as the dominant power in this region. Although, like I said, Wallachia isn't doing too bad either. Moving on to Poland, they did do the usual Poland stuff, like declaring on the Teutons. So they declared on them, took some provinces here and here, then Danzig popped out, they got them as a vassal of course, and then they took some more provinces from the Teutons, and they've already annexed Danzig and Mazovia, as you can see. And now the Teutons are just down to this one province right here. They do still have all their subjects and they're loyal, and they also got Moldavia of course. And Poland has also taken some provinces down here from Crimea. So that's how things are looking right now. Pretty unexpected, I have to say. I didn't think the Ottomans would lose so badly so early. Like I said, I did expect for them to make a comeback, but oh well. And I'm kind of sad for Byzantium. They lost so much so quickly. Over here, Castile is having a really good game, and so is Portugal. They've taken out a massive chunk in the Maghreb area, and they already have Aragon and Navarra as a junior partner. They're allied to England and Burgundy, although France aren't doing too bad themselves either. And that's pretty much everything that's been going on in these first 36 years. Did you expect it or not? What do you think will happen next? We'll check back in about 1520. And now it's 1520, about 40 more years have passed, and let's take a look at everything that has changed. First off, we can see that Byzantium has shrunk and grown at the same time. Basically, they lost these two provinces over here to Serbia, but they did gain these two back from Genoa. And we have the knights present in this province as well. They somehow gained it. They are in a war with Byzantium right now. Actually, Byzantium declared it on them, but they're also in a war with the Mamluks, because the Mamluks have declared on Venice in an attempt to take these territories that Venice have taken over from Byzantium, and the Ottomans over here as well. The Ottomans do still exist. They are a one province minor, and they are allied to Bitlis, this nation right here. Either way, Serbia has grown some more over here in these three provinces, but they have lost a war to Poland. That's right, Poland have taken these three provinces over here. Wallachia are still alive, and they're in a war with Bulgaria in an attempt to take their last province over here. Of course, this will probably be the end for the nation of Bulgaria. The Mamluks have continued their expansion over here in Fezzan, but in Arabia as well. You know, they don't usually expand as much as they are right now, so I'm happy to see an active Mamluks. In this region, Bosnia is now down to one province, with Herzegovina having taken over most of them from Bosnia, and Albania has also grown by one province into Epirus. Epirus do still exist with their two original provinces, and they have managed to ally France. Looks like they're gonna exist for a while, unless France vassalizes them. Oh wait, this is owned by Epirus. Now, I have no idea how this happened. I'm guessing due to their alliance with the Pope. The Pope declared on Naples. They took this province, gave these to Epirus, something like that, but that is very cool. Poland haven't been doing much, to be honest. They are annexing Hungary, and like I said, they took these provinces over here from Serbia. The Livonians are doing really well. They have expanded into these few provinces in Russia. I've never seen them do this, to be honest. And Savoy is also having a really good game, taking over almost all of Switzerland, a province from Burgundy, and these provinces down here from Genoa too. And Portugal and Castile have started colonizing. The Reformation has spawned, and this is what it looks like so far. Not a lot of conversion, but it will ramp up. And Venice have converted these provinces to Catholic as well. So let's see what the next 40 years hold for us. So it's 1560, and a lot has changed. Remember how Venice occupied this area and this area? Well, they lost to the Mamluks, and the Mamluks basically took this over from them and made them give back all of this to Byzantium. So Byzantium was on the comeback for some period of time. Then Serbia declared on Byzantium and full annexed them, and basically they were the strongest power in the Balkans, with the Mamluks stopping short over here. And remember, Poland had only these three provinces, but then the Mamluks annexed some other nations over here. I think it was Karaman or something, and they had a coalition form against them, and this was like 10 years ago. And that coalition consisted of Epirus, Albania, Serbia, and Poland. Well, it was still Poland at this time, along with Lithuania and Hungary. And Epirus declared the war against the Mamluks. In that coalition war, Serbia took some provinces from the Mamluks here, and they managed to get Byzantium released once again, so they still exist in this one province over here. As you can see, they have truces with those nations, and basically that's how we ended up in this situation. Now after that coalition war ended, now the Commonwealth declared on Serbia and took over all of the Bulgaria area. Venice lost to Mamluks, Byzantium lost to Serbia, the Mamluks lost to a coalition, and Serbia lost to the Commonwealth. Also, Ragusa has expanded quite a lot, but Bosnia is still alive in this one province over here. And of course Bulgaria has been full annexed. This happened even earlier, they were full annexed by Serbia. Of course Poland did form the Commonwealth, that was expected. Now remember, they were annexing Hungary, but they stopped for some reason. Instead they did inherit Bohemia. So this is what they look like right now. They still have Hungary and Moldavia as subjects, and they're doing pretty good. Of course they have expanded here. They did take these provinces from the Mamluks in that coalition war, and now they're in a war with Crimea, Imereti, the Great Horde, and Chandar. So they will be expanding in this area as well. But we can take a look at basically all the land that the Commonwealth desires right now. They do have a militarist leader. Of course Russia did form. The Livonian orders are really strong. I think this is the strongest I've seen the AI Livonian order probably ever. And remember how I said Castile was having a good game? Yep. I think I jinxed them. Basically, France is dominating this region even more now. They even lost their PU to Aragon at one point, but they have seemed to have gotten them back, although they are 100% disloyal. And even Portugal have expanded into them. Of course, they are allied to France, so that's the reason. But that's pretty much what's been going on. Things are really crazy, and I honestly have no way to tell what will happen in the next 40 years. I mean, Byzantium got brought back from the dead twice, and Albania is still alive for some reason, even though they're only allied to Bavaria. Burgundy is the emperor of the HRE of all nations, which is pretty funny, and we do have some cursed electors right here. This is how the Reformation is going. Obviously, Poland is converting provinces here too, and we'll check back in 1600 before the age of absolutism is about to start. Alright, so I wasn't gonna stop for another 20 years like I said in 1600, but I just had to check in to show off some things. So the Commonwealth is continuing their expansion, but the most important thing we need to know about them is that they have a massive coalition. Well, it just disbanded, but it's about to form again, and it's gonna have Russia, the Great Horde, all these nations over here, the Mamluks, Serbia, Wallachia, and some smaller nations too. Basically, the Commonwealth have made a lot of nations angry. They have this militarist ruler, and they desire all these lands like I showed off previously, and their aggressive expansion with Orthodox and Sunni nations is really high. So I think they'll be in a pickle in about 10 years, and the War of the Protestant League fired, and it's one of the biggest wars of the Protestant League that I have ever seen. Basically almost all of Europe is involved. This is what the sides look like. Basically Bavaria declared on Burgundy. So who do you think will win the War of the Protestant League? My money's on the Protestant side, to be honest. Also, the Livonian order is huge. So now it's 1602. It's almost the age of absolutism, and let's take a look at what has been happening. Byzantium is back once again, but they're getting destroyed once again, this time by Serbia. But how did they come back? While the religious war was going on, and while the Commonwealth was fighting the Great Horde, which was about 20 years ago, the Mamluks declared on Serbia and got these provinces right here from them, as well as some more provinces down here. But they don't have them anymore. How? The Commonwealth has it. The religious war ended, and Protestant is the official faith of the HRE, so the Protestants won. And remember how the Commonwealth had a huge coalition about to form against them? Well, they do still have one now, but basically that coalition did form and it did fire, and a ton of nations were in it. Basically all these yellow nations you see right here, they were in the coalition against the Commonwealth, from Wallachia to the Mamluks to Transoxiana, all of these yellow ones. Here's the thing, the Commonwealth actually won that war. They made the Mamluks give back these provinces right here to Byzantium, as well as these ones down here. Obviously the Commonwealth then conquered them from Byzantium, but they did win the coalition war. But they will have another one forming pretty soon. Even Russia is gonna join probably, and all of these nations that were previously in it. So that's how things are looking right now. The Commonwealth is actually really powerful. They don't even care about coalitions, and they had a militarist ruler up until a few years ago. Now they got this administrator guy, so they might chill on their conquests a bit. As you can see, they only desire some lands from the Mamluks down here, whereas previously they wanted a whole bunch of lands all around them. And they've also started integrating Hungary again. So that's pretty much what's been going on in this region. The Livonian order is still massive up here, and we have a pretty big Transoxiana too. So what do you think will happen next? Will the Commonwealth lose the next coalition war? They already won one. Will Byzantium be revived for the 5th time? Why is no one declaring on Albania? They're only allied to Bavaria. And will Serbia survive the Commonwealth and the Mamluks? and we'll check back in when the age of absolutism is in full swing. Okay, I had to stop it once again. Have you ever seen the AI declare on a coalition? Because that's what the Commonwealth just did. Basically, this is what the coalition against them looks like. The Commonwealth declared on the Mamluks, who are in a coalition, and this is who they're at war with right now. I've never seen the AI do something like this. Now it's 1640, well into the age of absolutism, and guess who's back for what feels like the 57th time? That's right, Byzantium, and they're doing pretty good right now. They have been stable like this for quite some time. They are allied to Burgundy, so that will help them a bit, although Burgundy aren't that powerful anymore. But yeah, they're surviving. But guess who's also back? That's right, we have the Ottomans in this province right here. It was owned by Chandar. I think they got separatists, and basically the separatist won or something like that, and now the Ottomans once again exist. They still have the Osman Oghuz too, and they're allied to AQ. They do have cores on a bunch of these lands over here, but I don't really see them gaining anything unless maybe the Mamluks lose against the Commonwealth and the Commonwealth makes them give some provinces back to the Ottomans. Serbia is also still alive, and so is Wallachia. They've gained a province or two. Albania still has these 5 provinces and they're doing great. Epirus still has these 2, as well as these 2 over here in Italy, although the Pope have expanded into Naples a bit, and Naples have gotten back some provinces from Epirus, and Bosnia has gotten 1 back from Ragusa. The Commonwealth is continuing their expansion. They have fully integrated Hungary, as we can also see right now. They're in a war with Russia in the Commonwealth conquest of that province, and they're winning. They also had Tver as a vassal up here, whom they integrated. These are the lands that they desire right now, and these too. Will we see them attack the HRE? France is continuing their really strong game, owning about a third of Iberia, and Castile. Oh, I thought it was Castile. So Genoa are actually fighting against Tunis right now, and they're doing really good. They are allied to France. The Mamluks have slowed down, especially since that coalition defeat where the Commonwealth declared on the coalition, if you remember. Transoxiana is doing pretty good. Of course, the Reformation ended, and this is what it looks like. We have a few Protestant and Reformed countries, and England is Anglican. Orthodox isn't doing too well, in the Balkans at least, but is still surviving in Russia. And we'll check back in the 1480. Now it's 1680, and as we can see, the Commonwealth have continued their domination over the Mamluks, having taken over all of Anatolia and, well, almost all of the Caucasus, and they've even pushed into the Persia region down here. They are currently in a war with Albania right now in the Venetian conquest of that province, which means they are allied to Venice and they're allied to Ethiopia as well. Now, their alliance with Ethiopia has enabled Ethiopia to conquer large parts of the Mamluks. As we can see, they own almost the entire Horn of Africa, the southern portion of Arabia, and they've even pushed into the heartland of the Mamluks, being 1 province away from Cairo. We can see the pyramids there, very cool. But Genoa also own these 3 provinces right here, and they own a very big part of the Tunis region, sort of. The Ottomans are gone once again, but Byzantium is still okay. They are guaranteed by Venice, so I guess that helps them out a bit. How long will they continue to survive? Can they make it until the end of the game? But either way, Wallachia is on the wrong side of this war, and I'm thinking Wallachia and Albania are about to disappear. Bosnia is back once again, retaking these provinces from Ragusa, and Serbia is also back. They are too guaranteed by Venice. The Commonwealth haven't been expanding too much into Russia. They have taken a few provinces. They do own Moscow, which is pretty cool, but they've mostly been expanding here. And as we can see, the provinces they mostly desire are down here. This is probably due to some trade-related reasons. The Livonian Order has replaced Finland, of course, and we'll check back in the Age of Revolutions. So now it's 1734, and to be honest, there hasn't been a lot of expansion going on. The Commonwealth has taken over some provinces over here from the Mamluks, of course, and they have conquered provinces in Scandinavia as well, basically full annexing Denmark. They also did get Norway into a PU because they did have the same dynasty. Well, they still do actually, this Arbon dynasty, even though they have a region right now. They did also get into a war with the HRE, but they didn't take a lot. They seem to have only taken this 1 province over here. They did declare on Thuringia. Venice has also expanded over here a bit, taking 1 or 2 more provinces, and Byzantium is still alive. The Mamluks continue to be crushed by Ethiopia, and as you can see, Ethiopia is now huge. They've even reached these areas right here, and they have a province here too. Of course, this is thanks to their alliance with the Commonwealth. This is what South America looks like, and this is what North America looks like. It is the Age of Revolutions, but we don't have anyone going revolutionary yet, and no one probably will. And that's pretty much what's been going on in these past 50 years. Let's see what happens in the next 50. So now it's 1786, our second to last jump in time, and let's take a look at what everyone has been up to. Basically, the Commonwealth has been blobbing even more. Mostly they've been expanding over here in the Maastricht region, and they have also expanded over here and over here a bit, but most of their conquests have come, well, in Scandinavia. As you know, they did have Norway as a junior partner. Of course, they have integrated them, but they also have annexed all of Sweden, as we can see, and all of Denmark. And basically the only thing they need to conquer to connect their lands is the Livonian Order, who have been doing really well the entire game. They are allied to Austria and Portugal, so we'll have to see if they really do fight them. But they also have been pushing into the HRE a bit. No real conquests, but I have seen a couple of wars going on, but I guess they haven't taken anything. They've also annexed this area right here where Bosnia was. Serbia is still alive, they're only one province right here, and Byzantium is still doing good, mostly because they're guaranteed by Venice, so no one has really attacked them. Spain has taken over southern Italy, but they are currently losing to France right now, and they continue to lose territory to France and to Portugal here. Speaking of Portugal, they have expanded massively in North Africa and in West Africa as well, but they have lost out on their colonies in South America. Now we have an independent Brazil and an independent Chile, of course. Spain is still holding on to their colonies, and so are the English, but they have lost out Mexico to the Portuguese. We also have an independent Canada and Florida too. Powhatan is losing to Portugal right now. Ethiopia is still doing really good. They haven't expanded too much since last time, but they have moved down into Kilwa. Bahmanis and Delhi are dominating India. Ming is pretty good, and Transoxiana is huge. Will they form the Mughals? I don't think they have time. And that's pretty much what's been going on in these past couple of decades. No one turned revolutionary. It is to be expected, to be honest. So let's see what the final 40 years hold for us. So it's January 3rd, 1821, the end of the game. And let's take a look at how this scenario wrapped up. Of course, we're starting with the region that we were the most interested in. Basically, the Commonwealth blobbed all over. This was sort of expected. They did start out as Poland, with Lithuania, Hungary, Croatia, Bohemia, and their two vassals, and Mazovia as subjects. You already know what the scenario was for the start, and they have blobbed massively, stretching from Norway down to Iraq. The nations that were here, Byzantium, Bulgaria, Serbia, and Albania, the nations which gained from the Ottomans' defeat, of course. Bulgaria was the biggest loser. They ceased to exist the quickest, and Albania was holding out for quite some time, but they have been taken over by Venice. Serbia still exists as an OPM, Wallachia has 4 provinces, and Byzantium has managed to stay alive for the entire game, owning about 7 provinces. As you guys know, they were revived about 5 or 6 times, coming back from the brink of death. Over in Anatolia, where the Ottomans were present, I am very disappointed in the Ottomans. I thought they would do great actually, and go on to reconquer their territories and become powerful once again, but that didn't happen because they were pummeled by the Mamluks many times, and then they ceased to exist. Speaking of the Mamluks, they suck now too. I mean, look at that massive Ethiopia. Basically, Ethiopia allied with the Commonwealth and later France and Venice, obviously, and this led to them pummeling the Mamluks totally. They even own Cairo, and they basically border their allies Commonwealth and Venice. Speaking of Venice, they had a great game. As we can see, they own these provinces over here, a couple of provinces over here. They even have Antioch and Cyprus, and they've managed to establish a large foothold in the Balkans. They did even own Western Anatolia at one point, so they were having a great game since the start. The Commonwealth also managed to get another PU on Norway, which is excellent, and they even took exploration ideas as their 6th idea group, and we have some provinces here that they colonized, which is pretty funny. They even have the Solomonid dynasty on their throne right now because they abolished their elective monarchy, so we may have even seen a PU between the Commonwealth and Ethiopia if we let the game go on for a little longer. Now, in other places, of course, the HRE was weak. This is due to the fact that Commonwealth was so strong. France had an excellent game. Spain started off really good as Castile, but now they suck. Genoa is having a great game. They own half of the Maghreb area, and Portugal is having a really strong game as well, owning half of Iberia and a large part of North and West Africa as well. They did have colonies all over South America, but now they're Brazil and Chile, and we have New Granada and Castilian Peru and Portuguese Peru. In North America, we have various countries such as English Louisiana, some Portuguese and English colonies, Spanish colonies. We also have Florida, Dutch Louisiana, and New Holland, some native nations with the most powerful being Powhatan, and we have Canada as well. In Southern Africa, Kilwa was the most powerful, but now they're being taken over by Ethiopia, and the English and French have established colonies as well. We also have an independent Australia, and most of maritime Southeast Asia is colonized by the Dutch, English, and Spanish. In India and Southeast Asia, Bengal Bengal, Bahmanis, and Delhi are the most powerful nations. Ming had a pretty decent game and Transoxiana blobbed hard, and now they've formed the Timurids. Russia also had a decent game, but they did lose out a lot of territory to the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth even owns Moscow. This is what the religious map mode looks like. Most of Europe is Catholic. Of course, the PLC has been converting. The only Orthodox nations are Wallachia and Russia. The Reformation was pretty average. Most of Germany is Protestant and Reformed. England is Anglican, and Genoa has spread the Protestant faith to North Africa. Ethiopia has been doing a lot of Coptic converting, so that's pretty cool to see. And all of the other regions are pretty usual, nothing special to point out there. This is the culture map mode. No one has been doing a lot of converting except the French in northern Spain. This is the dynastic map mode, nothing too cursed except the Solomonid dynasty in the PLC and Ethiopia, and the Bahmani dynasty, which is spread all over India and Southeast Asia. This is the development map mode. Warsaw has 157 dev, and it is the highest dev province in the world, followed by Paris and London. Going into the ledger, the Commonwealth has the largest army, followed by Ming, England, France, Portugal, Bengal, Brazil, Ethiopia, the Timurids, and so on. Ming has the highest income, followed by the PLC, England, Portugal, Bengal, Timurids, Venice, Bahmanis, Holland, and so on. And in the Great Powers list, we have the Commonwealth, England, Ming, France, Portugal, Ethiopia, Bengal, and Holland. No one has become a hegemon. So the Commonwealth started out as the second greatest power, and they ended as the first greatest power, with a big gap between them and the rest of the nations. So what would happen if the Ottomans lost the Battle of Varna? Well, basically, with the scenario I set up, of course, Poland and later the Commonwealth dominated this entire region, even more so than I was expecting, even expanding into Anatolia, the Caucasus, and the Mashriq region. What I didn't expect were for all of these Balkan nations to collapse. I really thought one of them would become the dominant power and basically replace everything that the Ottomans should have owned, and I did even expect for an Ottoman comeback, but that didn't happen. And of course, in this scenario, it was expected that the Commonwealth would dominate at least the eastern half of Europe, but it turned out even more. If you want to play this save game in 1444, this save file is available to all YouTube members in the Save Games Discord channel. Let me know in the comments below what's the next what if scenario that I should do a video about. If you enjoyed this video, don't hesitate to leave a like and subscribe, since only 12% of you are subscribed, and you can become a member today and join the Discord. The link is in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time with another EU4 video.